There might be a chance of wind. We don't know.
The other 5 discs were circling around the 6th, the damaged one.
They didn't find him till the next day in the morning, sitting on top of the school roof. Oh,
look at that.
What? Look at this. What? Binder 88. Check this out.
The star that it's circling is like pulsating, and then it just like goes out.
We're on a ferry heading to
Ferry Island.
Ferry Island. We're headed out towards what is known as Maury Island. Some things have happened out here in the peninsula regarding UFOs, cover-ups.
Men in Black.
Oh, right there. The real thing in this case, like the first recorded case of MIBs, it all sounds like there was a massive cover-up. We'll talk more about it when we get over there, but first it's like a 15-minute ferry ride over to what is known as Vashon, and then by way of Maury Island, which kind of overlooks Seattle. So we're headed out that way now, and we'll give you a little peek.
There might be a chance of wind. We don't know.
It's not windy at all.
Let me see your hair. Oh, nice. Nobody's on this boat right now. Oh, by the way, this guy here's the... What kind of yoga was that you got on your phone? I'll show you a clip of what this guy was doing before he was catching the ferry here. I mean, it was like next level Cirque du Soleil intense. Next stop, Vashon, by way of Maury. So, Allie, this is a beautiful mural. It tells a story historically. Let's give people a little more detail about what exactly happened here.
Well, a guy named Harold Dahl, he was on his boat in June of 1947. Him, his son, his dog, and his crew basically encountered 6 flying UFOs that looked like the shape of a donut, like there was a hole in the middle of them. But one of them looked like it had damage to it, and it was dripping slag or like molten metal, and it actually hit his son and burned him. It hit the dog, Sparky was his name, which is like horrible, but
Right, the funniest name ever.
yeah. And it hit his boat, and so he actually he turned off the engine and said that these UFOs made no sound. Basically just started dropping hundreds of pieces of slag from the size of a baseball to the size of a tire. He told his coworker, Fred Chrisman, and he went back to the beach to try and find some of this slag, and did. There was like tons of pieces all over scattered, but it was like some of it was still warm, and while he was there, you don't really hear this in other reports or people covering this, is that one of the craft actually returned to the beach and was hovering there for a moment while Fred Chrisman was there.
The weird part is this Fred Chrisman, and we'll talk more about him. His name keeps coming up over and over again, attached to like really significant historical events, and we'll talk more about those. But also, 3 days later, after the craft we're seeing floating over the Puget Sound, UFOs were seen over Mount Rainier territory by Kenneth Arnold, and the phrase flying saucers was coined right here 3 days later. And what was it, June of 47?
That was when the Maury incident happened. So it was still June. I think there were other sightings throughout that summer too, because there was like newspaper articles claiming it as like the summer of saucers.
And this may be evidence of it here. Here's a little tiny little goblin thing hanging out with a midget with boxing gloves on.
Interesting.
They're Sparky. But no signs anywhere here of any wink and nods to a UFO event, which is really odd.
Maybe this.
That guy?
Flying skier?
There we go. But you kind of have to stop by, unfortunately, some of these watering holes in order to get to know the town.
Diners, bars, museums,
Museums.
bookstores.
So we decided to stop into all three. Well, we're going to stop into the Heritage Museum now. There's a lot of things going on in and around this community that surround secrets. And this is what the Maury Island story really is. I'll let you be the mouthpiece of the operation here, or ask you to be.
Okay. Hi. We were wondering specifically if you have any information on the Maury Island UFO incident.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's two couple stories here.
Have you ever heard anything yourself?
No.
No? And this would have been like the summer saucers out here.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh yeah. So we're doing a little historical coverage over what happened at Maury Island. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about as far as the UFO incident?
Oh, well, an incident.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of the publicity.
Yeah.
Almost convincing.
You weren't there.
Yeah, we weren't there.
You weren't there. Are you local here?
We do all live here.
Okay. Have you ever seen anything strange?
All sorts of things strange, but not UFO.
Yeah.
Have you seen the final bit of the museum that says "Keep Vashon weird"? So we know we
Yeah.
work at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the incident is mentioned in one gallery. Did you find
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah.
We did, yeah.
Yes, so I'm trying to find Maury Island incident.
Oh.
Look at that.
What? Look at this. Binder 88.
Can I lay this down on the
Absolutely,
table?
fine. Feel
And
free to take a seat.
cool,
Yeah.
thank you.
Would you guys know any historical names here from the community? And the last name is Dahl. D-A-H-L.
Harold Dahl.
You
Yeah.
know Harold. Are the Dahls local to this area?
He lived in Tacoma and was clearing up logs over on this side. There are
What about the last name, Chrisman? Does that name come up? No?
Fred Chrisman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't know. any
Okay.
Chrismans.
They think he was involved in the JFK assassination, by the way. People were like,
An odd twist.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy. Oh, right there, Fred Chrisman.
So what are we looking at here? These are notes about the incident.
Well.
So what do we find out?
That everybody here is very helpful in terms of trying to get us connected with more information or people that might know more.
Super helpful. Like
yeah.
they're ecstatic to talk about UFOs.
Yeah, totally.
Way
So-
more than I thought. I thought they'd be like, get out of my face, YouTuber.
You're wasting my time.
What are you doing?
UFOs.
My gosh.
We have a binder full of information, so maybe like,
They had a UFO binder, binder 88.
so cool. All about the Maury
And you
incident. other
photographed
stuff.
every-
Yeah, pretty much everything. And there's parts about like Kenneth Arnold in there. As we drive, I can peruse through some of that stuff and see if there's details that we've missed. Might be some good stuff in there.
All right. We're gonna get to the water. Let's head out.
Let's do it.
We can't head out too quick there, Allie. We have some information, late-breaking news here, as it pertains to what you found in said Binder 88. Okay, I'll cut it with the voice. But this place was incredible, and we need to dig deeper. We can't just, go by the details here. The people need to know that this is a part of, Olympic history, and it predates some pretty famous UFO lore news. So, what have you found out as far as this amazing binder?
First of all, these ships were a lot bigger than we thought. They were like 100 feet in diameter, and then the holes in the middle that made them look like donuts were 20 to 30 feet in diameter. And then the other thing is, originally he reports sighting them at 1,000 to 3,000 feet in the air, and then something crazy happens that we missed in our research. Was of the 6 of them, 5 of the other 5 started to circle the 6th one, which was obviously damaged. We knew about that one, but we didn't know about them circling the damaged one. And as that was happening, supposedly they were slowly lowering down over the boat to only being a 500-foot distance in the air above the boat. And then there was a crack or a big explosion. It was a very loud sound that they said. And following that was all of the, the slag and the molten metal, which was described kind of differently than we originally thought, don't you think? It's more of like a thin white metal, like the word white metal, almost describing it like paper thin, like newspapers is almost what they thought they were seeing at first. But there were two types of slag. So there was that, and then there was also a more lava rock looking type of slag. And that one supposedly, as it would hit the water, a plume of smoke would come up. After that, one of the crafts approaches the damaged one by itself, and basically what appears to them like it is jump starting it, and then basically they all rise rapidly up into the air and vanish over the Pacific.
And then along came the Men in Black. And as far as the case history of the Maury Island stuff, well, this is all part of it, and it's the first time that the Men in Black have ever been reported. And so the story goes like this, is that Dahl basically can't keep his mouth shut after he has this amazing experience. Lord knows Christmas can't either. And between the two of them, word gets out, and a knock at the door happens at Dahl's house, and, well, there's a man who knows a lot about Dahl. In fact, a creepy amount. Like, he knows the nuances of Dahl's life from morning to night, even before the incident happened, and basically lets him know that he needs to keep his mouth shut or bad luck will come his way. Well, he can't keep his mouth shut, and so bad luck does come his way. In fact, his wife ends up getting some kind of mystery illness, his son vanishes, and then ends up in Montana working at some diner in some fugue state and has no idea how he got there, and then is killed. I think a car hits him, actually. And then all the evidence that was collected by the military, because it was, ends up in a bomber, flies out of Washington South, and then crashes, and I believe is provably shot down over a place called Gobble Creek. You can go sleuth that out, you little internet warriors, and find out if there's any wreckage still there. And as far as we know, there's only one surviving photo that you found in this binder 88 that shows this, what would you say, it's like twice the size of a softball-sized rock. And so, you know, that's the down and dirty of the MIB story. But what else did you find out, Allie?
We also keep coming back and noticing how Chrisman just keeps coming up. Like, it wasn't originally his story, but he seemed to kind of take control and be the one that spoke more to reporters and things like that. Once all that bad luck started happening to Dahl, he really didn't want anything to do with it, and he kind of left the area. Whereas, you know, Chrisman just kind of kept running his mouth and was really serving as a disinformation agent in some ways. That's something he was confirmed to be in a couple of different articles, and not specifically with this, you know, this report and this UFO sighting, but he's known for being a disinformation agent, working for Boeing, and
maybe even killed some people, right? Like there may be a body count.
Yeah.
So he was like a chaos agent, maybe with a 3-letter agency, and then he was seen at Dealey Plaza where JFK was shot.
Yeah, he was subpoenaed for that whole thing. He was seen as one of the 3 tramps on the, you know, the grassy knoll. I mean, it's not that far of a stretch, because if he worked for a 3-letter agency potentially, JFK was known for wanting to abolish the CIA, and then he also wanted to disclose all of the UFO evidence that we had, and he also wanted to buddy up with the Soviet Union. And if that stuff existed, our military didn't want to share that type of reverse engineering information. So maybe we shouldn't get that deep into it.
Well, no, but it does pull you in. And one thing we need to mention here is this is all happening during what they're called the summer saucers. Vashon Island, Puget Sound is filled with lights in the sky. And of course, then there's Kenneth Arnold's flying saucer coined phrase happening over Rainier. And lo and behold, Roswell as well during this year. So let's get back to the episode, do some boots on the ground stuff, see what we find out on Maury Island. I feel like this is probably going to be another 2-parter. And here we go.
All right, Allie and I just pulled in here. We're at the spot where Harold Dahl had his incident happen. Just right off the water is where apparently these 6 UFOs were seen. But as soon as we hopped out of here, I was like, what? We got to see the troll.
There's a troll.
I don't know how far a walk it is. We'll check it out, see if it's right up here. Check this out. It's not only a troll, it's like the king troll.
Look at his eyes.
Wow. Here's a little placard. Oscar the Bird King. Oh yeah, his crown is full of little birdhouses. Here's the offerings to Oscar.
That's cool.
Here's his big throne. That's amazing. How cool. His toes are seashells. So have you been taken since you were a kid? Or is this recent?
I was a kid.
You were taken away by a group of them? One.
Idiots.
Oh, you were abducted. And we just ran into a witness who didn't want to go on camera. That's the way it goes. But he said I could talk about what happened to him. So in short, he's a childhood abductee from here and from Tacoma. And at around 3 years old, he went missing from his crib. He talked about how the aliens told him to jump on the pillow out of his crib to make a soft landing.
Yeah.
He disappeared in a snowstorm with no tracks leading from outside the house, and they didn't find him till the next day in the morning, sitting on top of the school roof at 3 years old. And the mother knew how to find him. She was insistent somehow to where he was. So he says that she was also abducted. And that was just merely for the fact that we asked someone a crazy question.
Yeah.
And most of the time you're gonna get turned down.
Yeah.
Should we go back down to the water? All right, sun is coming down on us pretty quick. Lighthouse tours. Not today, Alice.
Oh, it's windy.
Oh my God, that scared me. There's a dude standing in there. I'm suspecting, I don't know the exact plot where this happened, but Burien and Des Moines are right on this side known as West Seattle. And so since they have a UFO festival and a saucer burning festival, I would imagine it happened this point right here. This concept of molten metal or people seeing what looks like lava kind of swirl in the belly of a ship or inside of orbs. I think even Travis Walton said that. One of the things that I've been holding on to was this. This is a piece of slag, and it was found at the Al Moon Lab on Daryl Adams' property on or before he got video evidence of a light in the sky dropping off what he called little orbs into the tree line. And this was found in and around that time. Now, it's never been analyzed. I have no idea if this is what was kept by Chrisman. This could be very well be where it happened. Now, there's probably a lighthouse quarters there. You want to take a look?
Sure. So this is titled The Island, according to Eldon K. Everett, and it says pseudonym ? In an article in July-August 1958, Flying Saucers. I set about to make a trip to Maury Island in early 1950 to visit the site of the crash. The crash area was fenced off with barbed wire, and uniformed guards were still patrolling the area with rifles. In light of the Air Force's later claim that the entire matter was a hoax, this is hard to explain. I suspect that Eldon K. Everett was Fred Lee Chrisman. 1. Everett, Washington is located very near Seattle/Tacoma area. Eldon Everett wrote in 1958 that Ray Palmer stated had received a letter from Fred Chrisman in 1958. And 3, Everett claimed to be in the engineering division of Boeing. Before the New Orleans grand jury, Chrisman claimed to have worked for Boeing. Everett claimed a top-secret clearance at Boeing. Discussing your level of clearance is a compromise of security. People who genuinely have a top-secret clearance simply don't discuss it. One thing that stemmed from the correspondence with you was a trip back to the Maury Island to see the place again. We found some startling things going on. For one thing, the area where the material fell had no plant growth. For a second thing, the place was posted a federal project was going on to remove and level the whole area. We ignored the signs and explored until a watchman came and removed us. The question is, after all these years, why? A bit of inquiry revealed that government men of some agency have returned over the years, many times for soil samples and pictures. The other interesting thing in this binder is like comparing the metal, what it was like in comparison to like what was found at Roswell. So while the Maury Island episode occurred first chronologically, it was not investigated until 3 weeks after the Roswell crash. Time for the cover-up team to have the benefit of the Roswell experience. This time, instead of labeling the incident as a misinterpretation, they simply called it a hoax. The slag found at Maury Island, one original cigar box of fragments, was mailed by Dahl to Ray Palmer. This box was stolen from Palmer's office. What sort of thief wants a cigar box of slag? Before it was stolen, Palmer sent it out for analysis. The results indicated it was neither slag nor natural rock. The slag found at Roswell. Kevin Randall picked up a piece of material from the Roswell crash site. It looked like gray pumice, had no weight to it, some stratification, and seemed very tough. And these are quotes regarding like people's observation of the metal at Roswell. So Mac Brazel's daughter.
That's the ranch owner.
Yeah. The daughter said a sort of aluminum-like foil. The son said something on the order of tin foil. And then Walt Whitmore Jr. said like lead foil in appearance. Now, then they're going back to the shiny metal found at Maury Island. Immediately following the sound, the center aircraft began spewing forth what seemed like thousands of newspapers from somewhere on the inside of its center. These newspapers, which turned out to be a white type of very light metal, fluttered to earth, most of them lighting in the bay. Dahl speaking to Arnold. We also picked up some of the metal which looked like falling newspapers. I related our experience to Fred L. Chrisman. We gave him the camera with its film and the fragments of metal we had loaded aboard as proof of our story. What does this talk about a camera and footage? Where is that?
Don't remember that ever being talked about.
I thought Chrisman went back to the beach on his own. See, I wonder if that part's made up. I don't know.
The story's getting deeper.
Dahl gave all the shiny metal to Chrisman, and Chrisman apparently switched it with some old scrap aluminum. Question: was Chrisman able to use the residue as a device to make himself an asset? Fred Lee Chrisman went on to lead a peculiar and interesting life. In 1968, less than 2 weeks before he was subpoenaed by the DA Jim Garrison in regard to the Kennedy assassination, his car was riddled with bullets as he drove home late at night. In the 95th Congress, the hearing before the Select Committee on Assassinations, it was suggested that Chrisman was one of the 3 tramps at Dealey Plaza. But before Dealey Plaza, before Roswell, there was Maury Island.
So this case has it all. It has Kenneth Arnold describing flying saucers. Mount Rainier's right here where this happened. That happened 3 days after Maury Island. Then Kenneth Arnold gets reached out by this super secret guy. Chrisman's link to this whole thing is shady as F.
Yeah.
And now he's implicated with this mugshot, basically, of people at Dealey Plaza after Kennedy was shot up. And he looks exactly like the guy in the back row. And he's like this disinformation guy. But why the hell is Chrisman implicated or involved in this UFO thing? Because why was he here?
Yeah.
How does he get caught up in this?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are these disinformation people put in places of historical events before they happen? And how do they know these events are going to happen? Especially one like a UFO that is seeming to like break down. That part still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Comment below if you can make sense of any of that for us.
I mean, these are people that are hiding in plain sight that seem to be more involved. Like, Chrisman is clearly way more involved in this than...
And he has a pen name? His other name is what?
They think that he was this Everett.
Which is the name of a town over here.
Yeah, like real original.
And it's where Boeing is. Boeing is outside of Everett.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
pretty odd.
Some people think that the whole thing that happened in New Mexico with Roswell, you're talking about Brazel, the ranch owner, they were talking about this metal sounds altogether different, like it's molten, right? Like this memory metal stuff is like light as air. It retains its shape.
Yeah.
They even had like hieroglyphics, I believe, that they described seeing like on one of the bars that they had. None of that is described here. It's described as that like this molten. It was hot the day afterwards, according to...
Yeah, it was still warm.
And it was white.
Was it white because it was in the state it was in at that, like, temperature?
Yeah, white hot.
Wow.
White hot. Speaking of white hot, a real quick divergence here. The thermal footage from our cabin fever episode, you guys were really good about responding, watching that video, commenting below. That helps out, get the views and showcase it to everybody. But as far as that footage is concerned, there's a little debunking going on. The previous renters of the cabin actually did leave that black handprint on the back area there. They reached out to us and said, hey, that is a weird looking handprint. My husband did that. But they were the ones that were getting their house slapped, you know, the cabin we're in. Yeah. So they're still standing by the weirdness. In fact, I think one of them even commented down in that video about it, Hannah.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So living in that place, we haven't been able to duplicate, but we did capture this incredible howl just the other night. And it's very similar to the other howl that we caught before.
We think it might even be the same one.
And it's just as long. So here's a piece of that. So for us, that's more of the same. But tonight, we're kind of waiting for the sun to go down here to get night vision going. Last time we did thermal. We're going to break out the night vision tonight, throw it on a tripod. And oh, look at this. There's Mount Rainier. So this is exactly where Kenneth Arnold was flying between here and I believe Mount Adams and saw the flying saucers 3 days after Maury Island. I'm glad that showed itself. Allie, I'm freezing my butt off. We're gonna go warm up in the car, grab a bite to eat. We'll come back here. Next time you see us, it's gonna be dark. So the sun has gone completely down, and this area right here is I guess wouldn't you agree, Allie, the most approximate area we can find so far in between this point where it happened? Yeah. And it is kind of like the best lookout spot too, which is interesting. We're just looking for anything that pops out. Now that's...
See the one going from right to left, straight ahead?
Yeah.
See the one above it?
Yeah.
The light?
Yeah.
That hasn't moved, and it flashes pretty odd.
Okay, so she's talking about this one right there.
Like flashing different colors and kind of bright.
Okay.
I mean, it's not moving. Yeah.
And right above this one here, smack dab middle of the screen, is Orion's belt. And if there's ever anything discussed about star systems, it's always that top of Orion's belt that leans out a little bit.
Oh, look, it's brighter again and flashing with the plane underneath it.
And
It's nothing but...
Again, she keeps watching this area right here. Everything else here is a jet.
It just seems to be... I mean, it's raising like a star would.
Yeah.
But...
And it's not coming up on your map, more importantly, right?
Yeah.
But boy, that looks weird with these white lights all coming to converge right now. Like if we were scoundrels, the mothership's coming in right now, folks. Anyway, what are you doing there, Allie? What do you got?
Just the night sky app to anything that looks a little suspicious.
So that's your way of ruling stuff out?
It's one way.
there's so much good stuff in that binder that we were able to get our hands on in the Heritage Museum. And I was just thinking about one of the details. There were 6 discs in total, but one of them seemed to be damaged in some way. And the other 5 discs were circling around the 6th, the damaged one. And then it kind of exploded. And that's when fragments started to fly everywhere and hit Charles, hit the dog, hit the boat, etc. And it reminds me of when I was like 14, roughly around that. I can't remember if it was before or after I saw a bell-shaped UFO up close. But same friend at the time, but we were at her house in the country, sitting on the roof, watching the stars. We would do that a lot. We're looking up and, you know, in the stars way far out there, there was a star that just started shooting across, like literally at this speed. And it stops, it comes to a complete stop up next to another star, and they blink at each other. This one like blinks twice, and then the one that flew over blinked back at it, and then it immediately starts to circle the star in the middle. And as that is happening, the star that it's circling is like pulsating, and then it just like goes out, lights out. Like the one that it was circling completely goes away, and the one that was circling comes to a halt, and then it shoots off a diagonal direction. So him saying that they are circling it, it makes me wonder if they do that, self-repair or explode, something like that.
It sounded like it was doing some kind of like triage and surgery. 5 of them circling it till they could kind of limp away, and it said that they went out over the Pacific together as a group, so
Yeah.
there was something that happened there that salvaged that so it didn't crash. There's all these reports of UFOs coming in and out of caldera zones and volcanoes, and we found some footage here, and you know, you have this topic being brought up again, like this almost looked like hot lava. Well, here you have footage of them coming in and out of calderas, volcanoes and stuff like that. So are these things basically able to...
You found the discs, the donut shapes, just like that.
Yeah,
coming
so
out of a volcano.
over a volcano on the right-hand side of this footage here, you'll see what looks like exactly what they described, a donut-shaped... I don't think it's artifact. I mean, comment below if this is camera artifact, but hovering over a volcano. So I don't know what's going on. Like, we have this interview with Henry Franzoni on A Flash of Beauty. He's talking about how Sasquatch hang out in caldera zones underneath the earth in these hot zones. Is there something to that? You know, are these entry and exit areas important to the story of how they make their machinery or whatever we're going to call this stuff? It's just something to ponder. There's so many questions about this stuff.
Or things just drawn to those areas because of like electromagnetic fields, like maybe the energy is just crazy in those types of spots with that type of material.
Could be.
Who knows? Somebody might know, actually. I'd be like, no.
No, you guys.
That is not
back to high
true
school.
at all.
Stupid idiots.
Stupid idiots.
The last ferry's about ready to take off, so we can't stay the night here. We got to get back. So I don't know. I mean, I was kind of shocked over the facts surrounding this. I mean, were you surprised by it too?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of like information, details that we learned about.
It does go to show, Allie, that showing up in these locations makes the difference, because immediately we talked to someone who's just like, I know a guy that will talk to you about this. I know someone, we even talked to somebody who said, well, there's a janitor that swears that he was there and saw the actual craft. Like, that's his claim to fame. So just like so many times, we don't have to go, but we can't stay here. And we're going to head out and be back one day down the road, maybe give it some time here to investigate it a little more deeply and see what's going on, especially with this Chrisman character. That's really super bizarre who this guy is.
He seems pretty sus.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention is that, we do have a couple events coming up. Again, the Galactic Fest down in Longview, the 30th and 31st of January. What else do we have coming up?
Ticket sales for Olympic Strange Days.
Valentine's Day, midnight.
February.
So if you love somebody, You go to Olympic Strange Days and buy a ticket. They sold out pretty quick last year. We also have Sasquatch Summerfest coming up in July. Allie and I will be emceeing. All right, guys, take care. And as always, we'll see you in the trees.